Hey everyone, today we're tackling a common headache on the 2012 Dodge Journey, a dead rear wiper. Whether yours is stuck, intermittent, or completely silent, I'm going to walk you through the full diagnosis to find a culprit and show you exactly how to swap out the motor if it's shot. Let's get into it. Tools you would need: a test light, wire strippers, side cutters, test leads, a small 12-volt test battery, a multimeter, some solder seal heat shrinks, some electrical tape, an auto trim removal tool, small butane torch or heat gun, safety glasses if you wish, utility knife, T30 Torx bit, and a driver. Always start with the easiest fix. Check your fuse first. If the fuse is blown, you might have a short. If it's good, we move to the liftgate. So let's find the fuse location by going into the user's manual and looking for the fuses section. Once located, we will look for the fuse of the rear wiper motor. We will start by looking at the interior fuse box first, which is under the passenger side instrument panel, and then we will locate the rear wiper motor fuse number. In this vehicle, the fuse location number is F115. To access the fuse box, we have to first remove this trim retainer clip, and then you will see the fuse box underneath. Once located, we need to unclip the cover and then try to locate the F115 fuse number, which is a 20 amp fuse. We can test the fuse right there, or you can take the fuse out, and we can do it either visually or with our multimeter. If you want to use multimeter, then you need to look for continuity or diode symbol, which looks like this on the right. And make sure the black wire of the meter is in the COM port and red in the volt or diode port. I had to use both hands to test the fuse. When using multimeter to test the fuse, touch one end of the fuse with red wire and other with the black. If it makes a beep, then it's good. If not, then it's blown or the surface could be corroded. So clean the prongs of the fuse and try again. So the fuse is good, and it's also showing voltage when the switch is enabled for the wiper, so it means there is power going in. Now we need to figure out whether it's the motor or the wires. The only way to access wires and motor at the back is by removing the back panel trim. Use your trim removal tool and keep prying the trim until you get it off from all sides. Make sure you go side to side so it comes out evenly. The panel came out easily. You can see multiple retaining clips holding the panel. Do remember the way you took out the panel. So when you try to put it back, it won't cause you any problems. Now, we're testing the plug. If you're getting power to the motor, but it's not turning, the motor is seized. If there's no power, we're looking at a broken wire in the hinge boot or a bad switch. The test leads and a small battery I showed you earlier is what you can use to test your motor. So the motor was fine and wiper was turning. I checked the wires for the motor and got no power. So let's start by tracing the wires for the motor. Before that, I want to try turning the vehicle on and test the switch to see if the vehicle needs to be running to get power of the motor harness, and I still didn't have power. I tried turning on the switch multiple times too to see if it may be a sticky switch, but no, it's not that either. You can see the windshield washer fluid pump is spraying fluid, but there is no power to the harness still. So I opened up this rubber boot on the left-hand side of the hatch, and to my surprise, there were multiple broken wires. It seems this is a fairly common issue when that many wires are broken inside the boot. In my understanding, it may have been caused by the extreme cold weather here in the Yukon. When temperatures drop below minus 30 degrees Celsius to minus 50 degrees Celsius in winter, the wires become stiff and are put under stress. Each time the hatch is opened, the wires tend to straighten along with the boot, and when it is closed, they bend back into place. Repeated cycles like this can cause the wires to weaken over time and eventually snap. So, let's fix that. I had to cut the boot open in half because there wasn't enough space to properly solder and heat shrink the wires. This is actually the best place to cut it, as that area is already a weak point and the issue could occur again in the future. By opening it there, it will be much more accessible next time if the wires need to be repaired again. Using wire strippers, side cutters, solder heat shrink connectors, and a butane blowtorch, we can begin repairing the wires one by one. While soldering, it is important to ensure that each wire is matched correctly. Most wires are color-coded, which makes identification straightforward. However, some wires may be black with colored stripes, such as green or orange. Take extra care to match these properly before soldering to avoid any wiring issues. Once I finished soldering, I inspected the remaining wires for any signs of damage. To my surprise, I found a few more wires that were close to becoming corroded or snapping. Let's fix those wires as well, while we are at it. Before we put the trim back on, let's make sure the wiper is working. It's a W, guys. It's moving perfectly. We did it. And that is how you diagnose and repair a rear wiper on a Dodge Journey. You saved yourself a few $100s in shop labor today. Let's put the trim piece back and screw in its place. Tighten up those screws. You don't need to overly tight. Just hand tight, and then half a crank is enough. Finally, let's close the fuse box panel and put the trim retainer clip back. Do let me know in the comments section what issue you're experiencing, and we can try to fix your wiper issue as well. If this helped you out, hit that like button and subscribe for more journey fixes. See you in next one.